Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Beau.
And I'm John David.
JD!
Hey, Beau. Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you too, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Did you forget your computer?
See, this is the miracle of modern technology.
Oh, you have your handheld computer.
You can do everything on a mobile phone these days.
Isn't that precious?
It is amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I got show notes here.
Including listen to Country Squire Radio if you like.
This is true.
Or watch it.
This is true. The only problem with using the phone for the show notes, and it's not a problem for the podcast, but for those that are watching live, it looks like I'm texting, which is very rude. You know what I mean? Like when you're at dinner or at a conversation and
I know, right?
Somebody pulls out their phone and they're like texting on it. But no, this is show notes, so it is legit. And
you know, it is funny. Every time, so much of our jobs nowadays in retail, it's weird. You know, I have to do it on my phone. It's not a computer. It's not a normal phone. It's a mobile device. And so, you know, people walk in. I'm sitting here texting what looks like texting, even though I'm probably putting content on Instagram or whatever that's not personal related at all. And, you know, I just have this wonder in my mind, what do these people, these, you know, older gentlemen that walk in the shop, what do they think I'm doing? Like these kids and their skateboards and their metal pipes and their aromatic tobaccos and
their pop music
and their texting. You know, it's just like, what did they, I don't know. I kind of feel bad, you know, but at the same time, I got to do my job.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, hold on one second. I gotta text, you know, about the score of the game last night, but it's not about that at all.
Yeah, well, you know,
it's just kind of weird.
It is a generational thing. I would imagine, you know, younger viewers, younger customers probably recognize that you're not necessarily texting, but they also recognize that you might be. John David over here tweeting, I'm trying to buy some tobacco.
No, that's right. That's exactly right.
Well, hey man, so you know, we've got some great shows here on the horizon. You know, we've been talking about the last couple of episodes, but we've got coming up here in the next week or so a new episode to the Pipe Culture series on places.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this.
Man,
I think it'll be fun.
I don't think I've ever seen such an early response to a Pipe Culture episode, like a topic. Like as has happened before, we've touched a nerve with this one, but we touched an early nerve, and in a good way, of course. Like we're getting all of this great feedback, and so keep it coming. Email your thoughts on pipe smoking places to show@countrysquireradio.com. We're going to collect those and compile them, and really looking forward to that episode. And we can tell that y'all are too. So hopefully we'll do right by you.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Anything going on with you, Beau, other than just kind of, you know, general show related stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, so you know, we mentioned before, I'm in the process of moving, and it's a fast move, moving to Houston. This past weekend I was in Houston, and I probably shouldn't say this yet, but let's just say we are getting very close to potentially having a new house.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
that's great.
The offers have been going back and forth over the next 24 hours. It's looking like we're in the right ballpark.
Okay.
You know how these things go. I mean, there's still inspections and everything else that goes along with it. But
you know, I don't care how many bedrooms and bathrooms. I don't care what the foundation's like. I don't care if it's in a flood zone. I don't care what the school district's like.
Where's the cellar?
Is there a decent place to smoke your pipe in said prospective house?
Yes. Yeah. Well, on perspective,
on property, right? I mean, you know,
there's a back patio area. It's got a pool. Dude, like smoking the pipe by
swimming
the
pool, and smoking your pipe. Yeah.
I'm
y'all are bringing the dog, right?
Of course.
I mean, you're not. I mean, you know, the dog's part of the family.
You want us to leave Isley with you?
No, not at all. not at all. There is absolutely zero interest in that. I've never seen a dog that can jump so high in my life. Like that dog can jump. No, that's great, man. Shoot, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to man, getting down there to see your new digs. I think
gotta tell you, I've been nervous about this. I think probably listeners have been able to kind of pick that up. Is that this is a big move, and you know, I've only ever lived like 5 minutes out of Mississippi my entire life.
No, that's right. Yeah,
and so to move to Houston is a big move. It's a different spot. You know,
different culture.
Different culture.
You know, it is, you know, some would say the South, and it is the South, but it's a different animal.
But
it really is.
And it's huge. Like the thing is, so this past weekend while we were there, I mean, we were there for a lot of reasons. The house was kind of the big one. We were visiting churches and you know, checking out the schools and everything. And also just going downtown and man,
kind of getting to feel the city.
Dude, it's a blast. Like there is so much fun stuff, man, in Houston. I'm really, really excited to be there. So to anybody in that area, please start sending your recommendations for smoke shops. I know John David's already listed a few. So
got to go see my buddy Ross at the Briar Shop, man. Gosh, get great folks down there. Yeah.
Speaking of great folks, man, we've got great folks that listen to this show. And if you've been listening, like a lifelong listener, we really appreciate you.
Lifelong listener. You've been listening longer than we've been doing the show.
No, not your life.
Oh, the life of the show.
The life of the show.
Like, what kind of special time travel do you have to do that?
To be fair, your mom has been listening to this show.
A poor woman. We got to find her some new hobbies.
But I will say, like, everybody who listens to the show. I mean, I want to just personally say, for me and for John David, thank you so much. I mean, like, we could not do this show without you.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, we introduced the Country Squire Radio Patreon account as a way for people to support the show, because we would not be able to continue, or have been able to continue, without that support. It was crucial. It was huge. And when we started the Patreon account, we really wanted to treat it as something different. We didn't want to just, oh, here's a Patreon. We wanted to treat it as a club and kind of have this idea of, if you want to just be a patron, give a buck a month or a buck episode, that's great. That's huge. And thank you. But for those that are really willing to dive in and to help make this show happen, we really wanted to treat it more as a social club, as a pipe smoking club, an international Country Squire Radio club. And a large part of that was putting together an online space for people to be together, which is how we came up with the Squire Lounge, which is our Facebook group. Now, the Squire Lounge is a closed Facebook group. And that means that it's only available for those that are actually club members.
Club members, been also on Facebook. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, in the last couple of weeks and the last month in particular, I've noticed a big influx of a lot of great listeners trying to join the club and just saying, like, hey, I'm not a patron, but I've been listening forever. And I don't want to devalue the fact that you've been listening forever.
Oh, gosh.
All.
No,
like
not a bit.
That's huge. And thank y'all so much for doing so. But for those that are making this show financially happen, we want to make sure that we're adding value there. So if you are able to support the show and want to jump into the Squire Lounge, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Country Squire Radio at our club member level, and we'll get you in. And so, and for those, and I will say this too, for those that are club members that still haven't gotten access, let me know. Just reach out to me directly. I think I got everybody. But
what's a good email for you, Beau?
Well, if they just contact show@countrysquireradio.com.
Show at Country Squire Radio.
That's where I go to collect all those. And so, yeah, just hit that and we'll get you in. I had somebody actually say, hey, I'm a club member. Just waiting in line here.
Still waiting on my deal.
It's like I'm a bouncer.
Get your head out of the sand, Beau. Yeah. You are. I know you're the gatekeeper.
Like, I'm on the list, and I'm like, oh, yes, you are. Okay, we'll get that done.
Man, no, that's great. That's great. Hey, did you watch the Super Bowl last night?
I was.
That's the one with the ball bats and the hoop net.
No, now hang on. I know what the Super Bowl is. It's an American pastime, and like we treat it as the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade to some extent. I mean, like it is an annual tradition, and I was saddened that this year that tradition didn't happen, because I don't know what you're talking about. I know there was supposed to be a Super Bowl, and then
it's because you're a Saints fan.
Well, as I understand it.
Oh no, that's right. I heard it was really difficult to watch the Super Bowl in the city of New Orleans.
The Picayune Times with the big, like, full spread.
It was a blank sheet on the front, right? And it said
Super Bowl. What Super Bowl?
No, it was great. Yeah, it's funny how we obviously have a lot of friends and dedicated listeners in the New Orleans area, and we got a lot of ribbing from them because we had a Super Bowl party at the Squire last night, and everyone in Super Bowl in New Orleans was celebrating the anti-Super Bowl, which is what New Orleans does best, which is goes out and throws a gigantic party in celebration of a made up holiday, which is great. And
I did see
they won the party. They always do.
I saw somebody was like literally roasting a ram. Like down in New Orleans, like on a spit and everything.
That's ridiculous. Where do you buy a whole ram? Is that even legal, like by federal law?
It is in New Orleans.
No, in New Orleans, right? No, that's exactly right.
Napoleonic code.
No,
how was the pipe shop?
Napoleon loved those smoking rams. No, it was great. Yeah, we had a good time at the Squire. Great turnout, man. Lots of pipe and cigar smoking, and it was a good evening. So it's amazing just how quickly we've filled up our new shop. Right, we've got all this extra space, and of course we were nervous about, man, how are we gonna fill the shop with furniture and inventory and all this. And man, we're already jam packed. I'm trying to figure out where to put more pipes, more tin tobaccos, build new shelves for new bulk blends, and how to maybe get us some more space for our growing shipping business and all this other stuff. And so it's a lot of fun. But man, it was really beautiful to see that little pipe shop just full full of people last night, in a very, watching a very terrible game. So
I got to ask you, man, because obviously you are a tobacconist, you are a blender, you are somebody who likes to take advantage of get-togethers or big monumental events, or even just personal events, and kind of come up with the tobacco for it. So, did you put together or did you either make a custom tobacco for this year, or perhaps have a recommendation for the big game?
I didn't. I didn't. I guess I could have. I mean, it's one of those
Well, it's
things
okay.
where
This year didn't count anyway, so it's fine.
no, it didn't.
No, that's right.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really do that. There is something to be said for marking those special events, but not for the Super Bowl. I don't know. Yeah, that's just not something that's come up. I don't think this year was particularly worthy of one, unless you're a Patriots fan, which of course they won last night, and good for them.
All right, man. Well, good for all of us, because this episode, man, we're having some fun. We're doing that in which you would think a podcast about pipe tobacco would do. We're talking tobacco, man.
Yeah, man. It's the forte.
Yes, sir. Now, it's funny. If you think back to the earliest tobacco talks, like the idea was, here's one tin, here's one blend. And there's been times where it's been, well, here's a couple of blends, and there's been times like, here's a couple of tins. But
and when you say blend, like bulk blend,
yes,
something we brew up at the Squire.
That's right. That's right. But I think we're back to classic today. Is that correct?
We're going with 2 tins.
2 tins. Okay.
We're going with 2 tins now.
but
one of them,
you put one of them's coming from your personal cellar.
That's exactly right. And so it's in a mason jar. And so Beau is, he's was confused because of this exquisite ball jar that I've got that has a big old hunk of plug tobacco in there that we'll get to. I think we're going to do that second. So we got a couple of fun ones today. Of course, Tobacco Talk. This is kind of the heart of Country Squire Radio. It's who we directly associated with our DNA, other than picking on each other each week and being the abuse victims of your memes and whatnot.
That's right.
By the way, the guy that is last night's Super Bowl, the guy that is the main singer of Maroon 5, I think his last name is Levine.
Yeah. No relation.
Are we sure?
Pretty sure,
because he did take his shirt off.
He did take his shirt off,
and it had California written on him. I don't, and speaking of memes, I mean, I just think there's some opportunity.
There's
there.
2 reasons why I know there's no relation to Brian Levine. One, because he Adam Levine phoned in that performance last night, and Brian Levine never phones in a performance.
Hey, that's true. That is true. And Brian brings the A game every time.
And 2, we saw him take his shirt off, but we saw what was under his shirt, which was a ripped physique, which is the other reason we know there's no relation to Brian
that
Levine.
DNA that can't certainly is not commingling there.
That's
right. I don't know. That's great. If he lifts his crate of McClellan tobaccos that he's cellared over and over, he might develop a bicep. Maybe one.
I'm not going there, Brian. I was going for some light ribbing.
Man, so Tobacco Talk today. We've got a couple of fun tobaccos at various ends of the spectrum. Here. The first one we're going to talk about is Holger Dansk Daily Mixture. This is a very classic brand that has been around a long time. It was recently reintroduced into the U.S. market, brought into the market again by our friends at Laudisi, who, of course, are the owner of Peterson Pipes and also the American distributor for Savinelli, Cornell and Deal, and so many other great brands, GLPs, so many awesome brands. But so Holger Dansk, man, it's interesting blend, interesting tobacco. Today we're talking about their daily mixture. This is a Virginia Burley aromatic. It says it's matured under intense pressure and mellow, but not too sweet, which we'll get to shortly. 50 Grand Tim. These are the same folks that make Brebbia tobaccos, also James Fox tobaccos. So some really good tobaccos there made in Germany.
Oh, wait, Fox is out of Germany?
James Fox. So it's the historic brand, historic shop there in England, which over the years, all these different tobacco shops, like the Freiburg and Trayer and other Rattrays, these are all brands that might have their roots somewhere like Scotland or London, but a lot of the stuff now is made in other factories across the world, just using the same name. Some are original formulas, some are not. But yeah, the Holger Dansk tobaccos are made in Germany, and it is the same factory as the James Fox stuff. So
Guten Tag.
Yeah, no, that's right. Bless you. So, interesting. Holger Dance, they have a variety of mixtures. Uh, Relatively elegant tin presentation, I'd say. I mean, you want to describe that tin? I mean, I don't know. It's simple, but
Yeah, so, like, in the very center, I associate the ship
with
as,
like
like, a Viking type ship.
yeah, like Viking or maybe Greek or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, Holger Dance, you're probably Viking, right?
Right. No, yeah, I guess Greek as well. But yes, because I had the kind of the dragon type deal and that sort of deal. And then the shields on the side, I suppose that could also be, yes, more of a Greek thing as
Yeah, but
well.
you're probably right. They're probably going for the Nordic look, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's got that the red, white, and blue, or I'm sorry, the red, blue, and yellow. The primary colors going around in the rim, but they're kind of close, thin strips in a very 70s style fashion.
That's a great way to put it.
I don't
Yeah.
mean it in a bad way. Just
No, that's right.
that was
Yeah,
very much like of the time.
yeah.
And the
It's
Holger
actually a great way to put it. Yeah.
the Holger dance, the entire outlook of it feels dated. I don't mean that
Yeah.
again, not in a bad
Not in a
way per
negative way,
se,
right.
but this looks like it could have actually been like really cool in the 70s.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah. Like the Country Squire station wagon,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, you imagine rocking around with the Country Squire station wagon that had the wood paneling on the
Hey
side.
man, we brought that bad boy back.
And smoking some Holger Dance out of your probably out of your favorite Ben Wade pipe. What was the best way to say I am in the 70s right now?
That's right.
Yeah.
It also has kind of a gold strip kind of banner going along the side that
Yeah.
actually has the ship in the middle of it, almost like the ship is a seal or would act as a seal for whatever this kind of
Yeah,
gold
for
band
kind of
is.
the overall package
Yeah.
there, yeah. So, this tin, of course, we're talking about a vacuum seal style tin, so if you're not watching live, but, are listening to the podcast, it's the flat, we call it the coin style tin that, is held together by vacuum sealed air. And, just a simple tin. My biggest complaint about the packaging with these is that they have a name on the front of all the Holger Dance tobaccos, but literally nothing about it. It's very nondescript, so you have no idea. Daily mixture. The other ones are just, again, names that there is one that's like bourbon and blue, bourbon and black, or
Mm.
something, and like, but that's the only one they really have that is a um, when you look at the front of the can, you can really tell what you're smoking. So you have to turn it over. Special Virginia, it says daily mixture, special Virginia and Burley grades, blended by hand, matured under high pressure, ready rubbed, mellow but not too sweet. So again, 50-gram tin. My sense is actually that this tobacco, as you smoke it, is pretty sweet. So it kind of reminds me, to be honest, of some of those old over the counter brands that have a kind of market themselves as a natural flavor, as
Hmm.
a simple tobacco, but do have some underlying sweetness there that you might not expect if you're looking for a non-aromatic. So
Uh,
anyway,
Is that
go ahead.
sweetness coming just from a natural standpoint, or are they cased or?
This is a heavily topped tobacco. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, in my sense. I mean, matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and open this.
Yeah,
So,
bust it open,
yeah, but
man.
take a look at the exquisite internal packaging here.
Oh wow, that's it's
I mean,
almost
I
like
can
a
smell it across the room.
candied plums just like
Yeah,
popped out right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
I immediately when I started smoking this, thought of plum. Yeah, and you've got some tobaccos that have that top note, that essence of plum that might be lurking in there. Man, when you open this, you that there are. The smell of this, everyone's like raisins or whatever. The smell of this particular tobacco, there is a specific um, granola bar that members of my family like to eat.
Oh, is it the one that's like more blueberry than granola? I
Yes.
know exactly what you're
And it
talking about.
smells just like this tin. It is the weirdest thing, and I don't know the brand name, I can't think of, but I know
I know exactly
you
what
know
you're
what I'm
talking
talking
about.
about.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes, yes.
it's
It does.
it smells just like it.
This smells
It
like
even
that
kinda looks
tastes.
like it, yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, kind of if it was blue. Um,
But,
Interesting,
the
man.
little dried, crummy blueberries, they put in
Yeah.
those things, it smells just like that, and there's essence of that in the flavor of the tobacco as well.
So is this the first time that you've opened this, or have you already been kind of messing
No,
around with
no,
it?
I've monkeyed with this tin before
Okay.
and smoked a little bit,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
Um, so,
Out of curiosity, how fresh is this?
it's yeah, I opened it last week.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
so it is fresh. It's
'Cause
a
it seems a bit dry.
it's relatively dry, yeah, which is kinda interesting. It's, what you'd expect probably from an aromatic tobacco in a vacuum sealed style, tin. A lot of your, tins that are closed up, kinda like the Cornell and Deal style tin, have a little more moisture in them, is my experience. But this is a pretty dry can of tobacco.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a coarse cut, kind of chunky, ready rubbed flake. I was expecting it to be very ribbon cut, but you open it up and there's some significant flakes in here, which for the flake smoker. I love flakes. That's no secret, and we love smoking tobacco that's been under pressure. It's a fun tobacco, so it's something that I think a non-aromatic smoker that likes a flake tobacco could appreciate if they're looking for something that's been topped pretty heavily. So uh, you know, there's lots of tastes here. We talked about the plum note. Graham cracker is very apparent in this particular.
What?
Yeah. This particular tobacco, as you puff, it's mellow.
Not in the 10. I'm sorry.
Not
There's
not 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 in the
yeah.
not in the tin, no, but, there's a slight citrus note that comes out occasionally,
Hmm.
nuttiness, but, again, it's a tobacco that you want to be gentle with, in order for this particular blend to be kind to your mouth. You're gonna wanna puff it a little slowly, but yeah, good, all around everyday, aromatic tobacco, not the, most intriguing or, complex or anything, but it's a good tobacco to try. And all the Holger Dance tobaccos, I think retail for a 10. The MSRP I think is around $10. So great value. It's one of those that I think if you're looking for something that is readily available and you can find it at a local tobacconist or at your favorite online retailer, I think you'll be happy with it.
That is a solid just fine from
Yeah, it's a
how is it? It's
firm
fine.
a
Just
firm
fine.
just fine.
Yeah.
Fine, just fine,
Yeah.
fine. It does remind me, to be honest, we mentioned before, um, a lot of those old-fashioned over-the-counter tobaccos, which, I kinda think the Holger Dance brand is kinda bridges that gap between our hamster cage friends and our premium tobacco friends. It kinda has that, it's kind of a middle step there between, the 2. So, it's a good value tobacco. I think, something that has enough, care taken in its manufacturing process to make it, worthwhile smoking, but, not super, over the top with, like we said, complexity or anything, just a great, workhorse tobacco. So, yeah, give it a shot. I think you'll be happy with it, at least as a part of your rotation.
Holger Dance Daily Mixture.
Fine, just fine.
Fine.
Fine,
No,
just
no, no,
fine,
no.
fine.
Attractive in the 70s and has a great personality.
No, that's right. That's right. Has a great personality. Is that code for being called fat?
Well, no, you're like, it's all right. But it'll do.
It's a
It'll
good
do.
that'll do.
My
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
wow. My grandfather used to have a farm. Like he always wanted to be he was an accountant and he was like a very successful accountant, like executive level, but he really at his heart wanted to be a farmer. And so he saved up and later in life he bought a farm and he called it "It'll Do," and so it was always like
It'll do.
"It'll do." I mean, like he was like my grandfather was very classic Mississippi, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I remember we'd go out to "It'll Do" whenever it comes. So and daily mixture, "It'll do,"
It'll do.
"It'll
Yeah.
do."
Man, moving along to our second tobacco today. We normally talk about two. Today we have one that is a lot of fun. It's a little more expensive tobacco, harder to get your hands on. Again, this is from my personal collection, so it is in a mason jar, not how this would normally be packaged. This is Wessex Gold Brick.
Oh,
Wessex, interesting, kind of cult following tobacco. These are made in Germany. Not a ton of different blends. This is not the prolific nature of say a Cornell and Deal or a Sutliff that just has all these different blends. Wessex, they have their kind of modest stable of blends, but they're all very high quality and really do have a cult following, which because they're limited makes them kind of hard to find. It's not the esoterica level hard to find, but this still kind of can be hard to get your hands on.
was Wessex the one that made that like premium of the premium tobacco like 2 or 3 years ago?
No, that was give me a second. Um Doggone it, Beau.
You
Um
know what I'm talking about
I
though.
know exactly what you're
The
talking
chat, the
about.
chat will probably do it.
Yeah, hold on. That will we're gonna I will have an answer for that almost immediately. but it's not there.
All right.
Yeah, W.O. Larson. That was it.
W.O.
I'm
Larson.
almost positive that was a W.O. Larson. Yeah.
Mike, clean that up to make it sound like John David knew that a lot. Thank you, brother.
I'm doing the best I can. I think that was a W.O. Larson product. Yeah, I could be wrong. I know it was made by Scandinavian Tobacco.
No, that sounds familiar.
I'm pretty sure that was right. I forget what they called.
When you
that
say
stuff.
gold brick, like that's the first image that popped in my mind. Like the first time that we saw that, it was like, oh my god.
Well, it was what Beau brought up and what we're referring to here. A couple of years ago, there was a it was released, I think, at the Chicago Pipe Show. There was I'm almost positive it was W.O. Larson. There was a limited edition tobacco.
It was.
The MSRP on it was $950 for a 3-gram tin. I mean, it was absurd. Like something that P. Diddy would buy just because he could.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I can't remember. We'll have to, we'll try to do some more research on that. Maybe have some information on it next week. Obviously, none of us and probably none of our listeners could afford to buy that. If you did, we want to know about it.
Is Diddy a pipe smoker? I want to know about that.
That's a different kind of pipe.
Let's get him on. I don't think so. Diddy gets into like some like crazy things.
No,
you
he
find out
does.
he's like a super fanboy of like
does.
Downton Abbey. Like, Diddy? Really? I don't know. Maybe he listens to this show.
You never know.
Call us, Diddy.
No, that's right. Yeah,
We'll
call
have
us.
you on.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, and then have us on one of your next like track.
Wow.
Sample Country Squire Radio.
Way to not sell an album.
I've had a podcast be sampled before. It can happen again.
Okay, let's talk about Wessex Gold Brick.
Let's do it.
This is a straight Virginia plug. So it comes in a literal brick. Now I have not removed much from this, so it's basically in its original form. But this is it comes in a very incredibly simple cellophane package. It is a when you buy Wessex brick, you're looking through cellophane at a plug of tobacco, a simple brick. It's 3.5 ounces. It just comes in this very simple cellophane package, and it's it's just a little chunk.
That's interesting to me. Okay, so this is probably a dumb question I should have asked a long time ago.
There are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Well, and I'm already here. So if this is sold as is, that in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of that brick in this
in
clear
the cellophane package
Cellophane
that is only the only way it's sealed is basically through a sticker. Yeah.
So I know with beer, like, I mean, this is part of the fermentation process and everything else, but like you want to make sure that you want to reduce as much light as possible gets to the beer before you actually drink it. I have always assumed that tobacco was kind of covered in some form or fashion as to reduce the sunlight getting in, and I would imagine heating up the tobacco.
Yeah, it's more of a function of heat than it is light. You know, we talk about tobacco. A lot of it's cured in outdoor areas and things of that nature. But really, the only again, I'd love to be corrected on this if I'm wrong, but the only thing you really be protecting the tobacco from is the heat. A lot of tobaccos are stored in light, right? You've got glass jars, see-through jars, like a mason jar.
Okay, that's true.
So it's not necessarily light. It is a heat-sensitive product, though. That's why a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, we had one of our friends call in or write in. He said, "Hey, we're talking about doing this in a laundry room." And my first, gut instinct there was the only thing you might want to be careful of is having your tobacco stored in a hot environment if your laundry room is not climate controlled or that type of thing. So anyway, all that to say, yeah, I don't think the light is as much as the the temperature variety there. But,
okay.
So anyway, Wessex Gold Brick, the small company label again in Germany, not a ton of different tobaccos, but their stable tobaccos are popular. Their Balkan Supreme is particularly popular, and this is also a popular one too. The Gold Brick, beautiful. The beautiful packaging, really, because you just see the tobacco. You're just buying a small little brick of tobacco. That's the packaging allows the product to sell itself, really. Gold colored with kind of a mottled dark leaves in there, maybe a little more mature leaf, but this is a decidedly not mature overall blend, though. The golden color of this is a brighter, more citrusy, top leaf Virginia that is going to have that grassy. Did you just try to lick that?
No, I was about to take a bite of it.
The golden color I think really speaks for the the nature, the character of this particular tobacco. So there is a grassy flavor. You'll get a little bit of that butteriness on the back end that I associate. Listeners have heard me talk before about the Mac Baren HH Pure Virginia Vowen Tobacco number 14. You get some of that butteriness. There's a vegetal taste to this, which I think can be off-putting to some people. Some of that is cured by age. One thing about this tobacco, we've talked about this before with other tobaccos that are, packaged, marketed in the same way. This is to be smoked either immediately or to be cellared in another container. So, the cellophane package, and we're really talking about just like a bag of chips. I mean, there's nothing. It's not even that sealed. It's literally there's air. Affecting this. While it's sitting on the shelf. If you do want to keep this long term, you really, in my opinion, you need to probably put it in some type of sealed glass container. And so, I think that would be wise. But hence the mason jar that it's in today. Or smoke it immediately, or take half of it and smoke it now, and put the rest back. You can cut it yourself, obviously with plug tobacco. You'll have to cut it. You can slice it either way, long ways or whatever. Some people are gonna fold it and stuff it in their pipe. I'm one of these people that is gonna rub it apart. Until it has kind of that chunky, ready rubbed look, more of a ribbon cut look, and then I'll pack my pipe with it that way. The moisture content of this particular tobacco is going to be determinant or will be determined by how long it's been sitting on the retailer shelf. Right now, we sell this tobacco like crazy, particularly through our website. So when it comes to our shop, we don't it doesn't sit on our shelf very often. One thing we don't have control over has how long it's been sitting on the shelf at the distributor or even the manufacturer. We just don't really know. So you'll have to determine the moisture content yourself, and get it to a point where, okay, well, I know if I cut me off a slice of gold brick that I'm gonna have to let it sit there for 30 minutes before I smoke it, or maybe it's good to go immediately. Maybe it's too dry and you need to breathe over the tobacco a little bit, or something of that nature. But again, bright leaf here, we're talking about a more grassy hay-like flavor. This is one of those tobaccos that you don't have to really baby, but um, you're going to want to smoke it on the slower side. Any Virginia leaf that's got that heavier dose of natural sugar is like that. There's some spice there, a little bit of a pleasant bite, that we might associate with your favorite bourbon or something. That just lets you know you're smoking a hearty tobacco. Not super complex. This is not a matured. This particular tobacco doesn't major on the matured leaf side, and so you're not going to get those deep, rich notes. This is a more a grassier, flavor tobacco, but good, old fashioned plug tobacco. Just a good, again, all day workhorse. I think, your non aromatic smoker, certainly your plug smoker, and also most Virginia smokers, I think, are going to be very pleased with this, and it's highly recommended.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I do have a question with this brick. Like, how many bowls, good size bowls, you think you'd be able to get with that?
Oh, a whole bunch. I mean, this is a 3.5 ounce brick of tobacco. This is actually it's a pretty expensive product. We mentioned. I think this MSRP on this is like $25 or something.
Wow.
Which puts it in the category of like a Mac Baren Navy Flake, which only comes in a 3.5 ounce can. It's, I think, MSRP 24-25 bucks. But you're gonna get a whole bunch of smokes out of that. It's just a really great tobacco. I can't put a really number. Bowl number just depends on how big your bowl is.
Mr. Owl, how many smokes does it take to get to the end of Wessex Gold Brick? Well, let's find out.
2 and 3. Hadn't thought about that commercial in a long time.
Yeah. Well, one way or the other, man. Look, if you're thinking about checking out these tobaccos, we recommend that you do. Don't take our word for it. Smoke them for yourself and see what you think. But if you do so, you're going to want to make sure that you get a good, cool, clean smoke where you're actually going to be able to enjoy all of the various flavors. And you won't just say raisins. you'll say sugared plums with graham cracker, like
Mm.
John David. And the only way you'll do that is by getting that good, clean smoke, like the great smoke you can get with the wonderful corncob pipes from our friends at Missouri Meerschaum.
No, that's right, man. Gosh, we love Missouri Meerschaum pipes, particularly for tasting new tobaccos, and they just pair so well with our tobacco talk episodes. Today, we're featuring the Apple Diplomat corncob pipe. It's one of their most sought after shapes, right? This is a decent, generous sized pipe. It's got a medium to large size bowl, and the Apple Diplomat has a slight bend on the stem, which is really nice. Of course, the bent stems tend to be a little more popular, not just with briar pipes, but also with corncob pipes. A chubby and familiar oval-shaped bowl is a popular pipe, and it's for a reason. Comfortable in the hand and pleasing to the eye, the Apple Diplomat is sure to be a welcome addition to your pipe smoking rotation. This pipe accommodates a 6 millimeter filter and has a genuine hardwood insert in the bottom of the bowl. It's available as a straight or a bent bit. The bent bit, the straight one is a little, I think just a little different, but but you can get it in both. We're featuring the bent one today. It's available in straight or bent. It is included in our also the two pipe gift sets that they have. They have a gift set of the Diplomat, both in
Love
the
those,
Apple
man.
and then also in the Fifth Avenue variety. And so, just a great pipe. It'd be good to smoke a generous sized bowl of tobacco sitting on the porch, maybe with your favorite libation.
1, 2, 3. Be sure to check out the bent or the Apple Diplomat, and if you've got one, smoke it this week. Take a selfie of yourself doing it. Tweet it into us. We'll retweet it out. It's a great way to let the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum know you appreciate them for sponsoring this show.
I love how you say Meerschaum.
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 All right, man. Pipe question of the week this week coming in from Tom Kunn. Tom says, "Hey, Beau and JD. First, I want to say how much I enjoy your show. Every Monday at noon, I sit at the computer and get away from the daily rat race of work and get to interact with my fellow Piper community." Well, hopefully you're watching live right now. So what's up, Tom? He says, "I listen, learn, and most importantly, I smile and enjoy. Thank you for that. Here's my question." You know how at the rim of your briar pipes, you sometimes get that charring from your lighter? Well, I know it's not very sanitary, but a little saliva on the old soft rag will that right up. Sometimes it looks just like new. I must have super spit.
Yeah, spit shine.
I have and love a 1970s meerschaum that I smoke my plum pudding out of, and it gets some black charring on the rim. Also, how can I get that off? I'm afraid to rub the rim for fear of grinding or wearing it down. Can I use saliva on that too? Maybe a toothbrush? Is there something else better? I wait in suspense. That's from Tom.
Yeah, Tom, man, thanks for writing in. Great question. You know, with meerschaums, I'm gonna be real honest. I'm gonna encourage you to not mess with the charring at all.
Mm.
We talk about you bring up a great point in cleaning the rim of a briar pipe, right? A lot of little bit of saliva, maybe a little terry cloth and some elbow grease. That'll get a lot of that charring off. Sometimes folks will take kind of a wet, hot damp rag, hold it on the rim of that pipe for maybe 10 seconds and just kind of scrub it a little bit. You don't want to do that too much because it will take some of the finish off, but you can do that sparingly and gently and relieve some of that. Now, having said that, you can do the same thing with a meerschaum pipe, but part of the beauty of the meerschaum is that you're letting it take on the color from use, right? And now, the coloring is going to be a little more even when you're not touching it with your hand. But most aged meerschaum pipes that have been actually aged by smoking and not artificially aged by some kind of torch or wax or anything like that, most are going to have kind of that charred darker color there around the rim of the pipe. And so if it were me, Tom, I would embrace it. I really would. Now, having said that, if you're incredibly careful, you can use moisture and get some of that coloring off of the meerschaum. I've seen folks, again, the care you have to take on this is so incredible, but I've seen folks put a meerschaum on a buffing wheel. If this is a prized pipe of yours, yeah, I just wouldn't do that. It might be something if you're cleaning up an old estate pipe that you found on eBay and want to try it out. Maybe if you've done several that way, you could get comfortable enough to treat, your prized meerschaum like that. But I would embrace the color. I really would. If we've got folks in there that folks out there that do like to um, have their meerschaums continue to look pearly white. That's we might, I'd love to hear from those folks that chime in. One thing, be aware if you clean a part of your meerschaum on the outside, you're going to have this, squeaky clean, bright rim of the meerschaum, but then the rest of it's going to be yellowed. So you kind of have to, you kind of have to decide, okay, well, am I going to have a clean top, but then it won't look uniform, or is it just you got to figure out what you want your pipe to look like. But anyway, be careful if you do try to monkey with the coloration of your meerschaum at all. I would advise you against it, but if you do, you just want to take exquisite care. Maybe practice on a couple of pipes first that you get on eBay. But again, elbow grease, same way, wet rag, even a buffing wheel. But gosh, you better take it really easy.
Sounds like if you got a local expert too, that it might be better in some
Yeah, man. I mean, you
hands.
could,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe send it off to, someone like our buddy Reborn Pipes, or, even Tim West, or Norwood's Pipe Repair. I don't know. Maybe someone would be, willing to take that. But again, they're probably going to tell you, look, no promises on the condition of this pipe when I get
Yeah,
done with it,
that's true.
because, again, those, they're just very delicate.
Well, there you go. Well, great question, Tom. And hey, if you got a question for us, send it in show@countrysquireradio.com. All right, man. Quick fire questions.
Ow!
All right, quick fire questions brought to you by new Country Squire Radio shirts.
Coming soon.
Yeah. All right. The funny thing about the coming, I know you don't want me to tell people why they're coming soon instead of why we can do it. And I won't. I'll wait until we finally announce where you can get them and everything. I will let everybody know why this is so
I
weird.
don't know. Maybe we just should go ahead and
No,
we'll wait.
We'll wait.
It's embarrassing
Because if we
anyway.
tell people the truth, they're going to want certain things that they can't have. It's so,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because then they'll be like that whole. You'll
this will
find out.
make sense after we
Everything will make
after we
sense.
release the t-shirts. Come back and listen to this segment of this episode.
Hopefully this time next week.
And then you can,
but
yeah.
we'll let you know. All right, man. Quick fire questions coming in from Derek Jamagan?
Jarnigan.
Wow, my
I
eyesight.
think you literally messed up his name, and I think actually the pipe question was from Tom Kuhn. And I think you messed up his name too. So both of these people feel very welcome.
Good. I mean, that's how we do it here. That's how I do it. All right. So Derek, this is what he has got to say. This is a barbecue edition. As someone who I'm sure is in the pro barbecue corner.
Yeah. Oh, well, great.
Yeah. All right. So you ready for this?
Yep.
Ribs or brisket?
Ribs. 6 or 7 times out of 10 ribs, but brisket is delicious and has its place. But I'm gonna go with ribs.
Ribs are more delicious, but brisket is more practical.
I don't know, man. People are gonna fight you on that.
I don't know. I think ribs are more ribs are delicious.
Who eats barbecue to be practical?
Well, ribs. Yep. That's a good point. Barbecue pork or barbecue beef?
You're moving to Texas. That's brisket country. You got to be careful with this kind of stuff. You might have to,
pork brisket, man.
You might have to keep these opinions, kind of in the background.
Go get that pork brisket. Barbecue pork or barbecue beef?
Pork isn't even a brisket. That's a beef product.
It's a throwback to a. Never mind.
Oh, no, it is. I remember that now. Yeah, that's right. That's an ignorant other episode that we had.
All right, barbecue pork or barbecue beef?
Barbecue pork.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Pulled, delicious.
Pulled barbecue pork.
That's right. Sweet and savory or salty and spicy?
I'm gonna go with sweet and savory. I'm a sucker for just a sweet, sweet barbecue sauce. I love that.
I like it to have some heat. I'm gonna go salty and spicy.
Okay.
All right, then finally, dry rub or saucy?
Dang, man, I consistently have better wet sauce, better wet ribs than I do dry ribs. I think people get it more consistently right, but I'm gonna go with wet ribs. But when someone gets a dry rub just right,
yes,
it's just so rare because it can be so not done well. But man, when someone gets a dry rub just right on a doggone rib, man, hold my beer. I'm about to make a fool of myself. Like it's gonna get ugly.
Right.
Like I'm gonna need a nap and
Mhm.
wake up in a coma.
You
I mean,
can't
it's
touch your
just
eyes for a while because, like, the
oh my
spices are, like,
gosh.
deeply in.
Yeah, dude, I
It's
just need to
good.
sit there and stare at the wall, maybe have a cigarette. I mean, it's just a real it's just an incredible experience. So I'm gonna go with wet ribs, but man, God bless those people that know how to do a dry rub.
Yeah, man. Okay, so we're Memphis is dry rub, and we're
Well,
close. Well, so what's Texas?
the let's get it right. The Rendezvous in Memphis is a dry rub.
Okay,
Yeah,
tell me the barbecue shop in Memphis that is known for wet ribs. I actually know the answer to that
Corky's,
question. What?
Corky's,
Are they
and Central Barbecue.
Central Barbecue? That's
Yeah,
right. That
both.
that is right.
Yeah,
All right. Fair enough. Fair point. Fair point. Fair
yeah,
point.
yeah.
They go both ways. What's Texas?
I don't know, other than just brisket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So they don't
good question.
they don't side on either way.
I know they probably do. I just don't know the answer.
I'm kind of with you, man. When a dry rub is done right, I am so there for that. I'm gonna go dry rub.
We're not having a barbecue episode. Let's move
I
on.
never said that we what? Not this episode. I haven't said that we were. Take it up with Jared. All right, man. Listener feedback. We got some great listener feedback in. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me close out that. That's just cold jump right there.
Yep.
Great quickfire questions, of course, Derek. And hey, if you've got some quickfire questions for us, be sure to send those in at show@countrysquireradio.com. Listener feedback. All right, man. We got a great iTunes review in from Air Cool to 66. He says, best pipe tobacco related podcast. I listened to a few podcasts and immediately knew I had to subscribe and contribute via Patreon. Thank you so much, Air Cooled. John David and Beau present information and pipe culture in an education and entertaining way, and I really like the reader questions. Well, thank you again, Air Cooled, for both writing this review and becoming a patron supporting the show. That goes a long way to the longevity of the show, and we thank you so much for doing it.
Absolutely, brother. Next one from our dear friend Doug Owen, who we always love listening to and hearing from. Doug, hope you're doing well, brother. He writes, "Hi guys, Happy New Year. One of my very reliable sources indicates that Lane Limited is going to be the new blender of Peterson Tobacco and is planning on introducing some new blends under the Peterson trademark, and also will be discontinuing some of the current blends. Hopefully those discontinued blends will not include Irish Flake or University Flake, two of their best tobaccos. Ironically, as you know, tattoos are a big deal lately. Yes, Doug, I have two of them actually. And one of my part-time employees last year, an avid pipe smoker, actually had "This is not a pipe" tattoo on his arm.
How about that?
Which was a dead ringer for the painting. Oh,
Huh.
that's really cool. The Thomas Nast image of Santa I recall from my childhood, which we've talked about before under some of our Santa Claus commentary. The Thomas Nast image of Santa I recall from my childhood always included him smoking a church warden, probably a clay. Exercise and pipe smoking, I used to jog 12 miles a week, and then my doctor told me that might add 1 year to my lifespan, so I figured that year would be eaten up by a number of hours I spent jogging.
There you go.
That's my excuse from now on, Doug. That is my excuse. So now my main form of exercise is walking a block to our local bakery here in Poulsbo, for a chocolate donut. Remember, chocolate is made from cocoa beans, which are a vegetable, so I figure a donut is healthy food. Keep puffing, our dear friend Doug. Man, Doug and I are like spirit animals, man. We get it. We're just on the same page.
I'm gonna try that donut as a vegetable with my wife. I have a feeling it ain't gonna fly.
I don't think it's going to go very far. I mean, a little activity on Twitter, that I can chime in here real quick. We do have one more reminder here again that the St. Louis Pipe Show is on February 16th, Saturday, February 16th. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's at the Webster Groves Masonic Lodge, 12 East Lockwood in Webster Groves, Missouri. There's hotel space available. There's not an admission fee there, but there'll be great, vendors, food and drink, and just a lot of fellowship there. There's a pre-show reception Friday night from 6:30 to 9. And this is just a great, classic American pipe show, long history, tons of, your best American carvers will be present there at the St. Louis Pipe Show. Pipe smokers, collectors, dealers, pipe makers, and anyone interested in pipes, pipe smoking, and tobacco is welcome and encouraged to attend. And they look forward to having you there at the show.
All right, man. The YouTube channel, our comments have been rocking and rolling throughout the episode. Everybody freaked out when you said raisins. I think that there needs to be a drinking game. I know we broadcast currently in the midday, but
Oh yeah, look at that.
like every single time that John David says raisins, take a shot. Every single time that Beau spills his drink, take a shot. You know, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. Also, there was the confirmation. It was W.O. Larson. Thanks, Odie, for that.
Good.
We also Tom, shout out to Tom, who's actually in the chat tonight or today, and shout out to Cosimo Pakeka.
Cosimo. Yeah.
I'm sure I butchered that as well.
Yeah.
It is 2:30 a.m. in Western Australia where he
Yeah.
is tuning in. So good
That's
morning, brother.
awesome. Yeah, man.
Or
Down
good
under.
evening.
No,
Yeah.
Cosmo's been a friend for quite a while now.
Down
so,
under.
yeah, man. That's great. Good morning down there.
Good morning to I can't.
Don't even
And
try.
I shouldn't.
Don't even try.
I won't. We also have some commentary on the barbecue. A lot of discussion going on. There is Bozan Egrin says alligator tail on a barbecue is the best. Have you ever had alligator?
Alligator
Yeah.
tail. Yeah, I have had alligator. I
Me
like
too.
alligator. It tastes, what's the saying? It tastes like chicken. It really does taste like chicken, but I like alligator.
Zach May popping in for like 2 seconds to say hey, and doing so at the appropriate time to be able to get mentioned on the show. So good on you, Zach. And then also, Four-Eyed Piper says that he had some Country Squire Green Dragon on his live stream last night. So
Oh,
thanks
that's
for
great,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that. That's awesome, brother. Yeah. Man, check that out. We also one more from Portland Paul on Twitter. He says, interesting note on keeping tobacco from heat, air, and light. Stephen Books, of course, legendary, tobacconist in the Pacific Northwest, I think is Portland. Stephen Books insisted on storing his tobaccos in a large, heavy, opaque ceramic jar with no gasket. He had some stored and aged more than 50 years like that. Basically, no light, no heat, and moderate air. If Steven said to do it that way, do it that way because he was the man. And maybe I'll be a shadow of him when I grow up. So yeah, thanks for chiming in on that, Portland Paul.
Shout out to Ed as well. I don't know if he's still tuned in, but I saw that he was on earlier for his first ever live show. And
Oh, that's great.
Ed, one of our Squire Scallywags from the Sea of Thieves group. So always good to shout out the pipe smoking pirates out there.
Yep.
Man, the rum episode was fun. We need to do rum again.
We should.
But this episode was fun as well. Excellent. Always learning about these various tobaccos and kind of expanding the palate. We want to encourage you, if you want to join us for a live show, we should be live next week at noon on Monday and would love for you to be there to be with us. Maybe. Yes. At countrysquireradio.com. You can also keep up with us throughout the week. I'm at The Real Beau York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
And of course, the show's handles at Squire Radio, but all that more can be found at countrysquireradio.com.
Every time.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much, man. This was fun.
I had fun. This is the bread and butter, man. This is what we do.
Yeah, man.
I love it. I get nerding out, man. It's just it's a good time. It's a good time.
All right, man. Let's go have a day.
See you, brother.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, it's good, man. We enjoyed hanging out with y'all today. And now Beau has to go swivel over there to turn it off.